Hey guys, welcome to Wrench to Drive Deep Dive Edition. So, if you've seen any of my videos, guys, my last Red Cat Gen 8 video, you notice I converted to these cheap Chinese metal axles, and unfortunately I broke a drive shaft. So, the upside is that some replacement drive shafts have arrived from China. These were super cheap. They were $18 delivered to my door. They got here in a whopping 2 weeks. So if you're thinking about ordering stuff from China, the speed at which things get here is increased, here being Canada, but North America in general, I'm sure, has increased dramatically. Earlier on in the summer, stuff was taking months, like just months. And how much of that was on China and how much of that was in Canada, I'm not 100% sure. Seemed to be about 50-50. Getting things out of China was taking a while, and getting things into Canada was taking a while at the border. So take that into account, guys. Stuff seems to be coming a lot faster now. If you need parts, it's a good time to order them. So here's the broken drive shaft, guys. As you can see, it twisted off the end of this jobby. It didn't actually break one of the pins, which is another notorious failing with these. It actually twisted it right off, guys. So these are not the most durable drive shafts you're ever going to find. For that reason, I decided to order this style. From what I could gather, these are more durable. So they say anyways, guys. I'm not 100% sure. Thought I'd give them a try. Now the problem that I discovered when I went to put them in, I wasn't 100% sure. I thought this might happen, but I wasn't 100% sure, guys. Alright, so the problem is, hopefully you can see, the bearing to bearing distance, guys, the distance from that face there to this face back here is about 2 millimeters longer. That's a problem, guys. It's too much. Doesn't fit. Now for me, relatively straightforward, what I'm going to do, I'm going to make a new knuckle in CAD, 3D print it up, because I've had good success with 3D printed parts, guys. Haven't broken too many. So I think I'll be able to do this without too much trouble, guys. If a WL Toys 3D printed steering knuckle works, I'm pretty sure I can print one up for this and it'll be alright, guys. Now what I discovered, more, yes, there's more. Alright, this bearing on the end, no problem getting out. The inside bearing surface, way down there, guys, right there, that I'm poking with my tweezers, guys, that's a face, guys. That's an obstacle to being able to push this here bearing out of the knuckle. So with my 3D printed knuckles, obviously I'd want to put these bearings in there and have it working properly. Duh, no brainer, right? So unfortunately, the way this was designed and built, guys, you can't get that bearing out easily. I understand, guys, there's some of you going, oh, of course you can get it out. Yeah, I can get it out. Do some surgery, get it out, yep, it'll be fine, but I'll wreck this bearing in the process, so at this particular moment, I'm screwed. I need bearings. No matter what I do, I need bearings. The chances of me being able to grind some of that flange in there out and not damage this bearing, not that great, guys. That's a pretty tiny hole to be getting a tool in there and you know, doing the hokey pokey. So fortunately, I found a set of 10 bearings on Amazon for 10 bucks. So $1 each, not bad. I can totally swing that, guys, so it's all good. So I got the bearings coming. I'm going to design the part up, and all I have to do, guys, is I got to move the hinge point out a millimeter and then move this face out a millimeter. And the reason for that is, guys, you got to make sure the pivot on the shaft is as close to lined up with the hinge of the knuckle as possible, guys, because if it's too far over this way or that way, right, the hinge is here, this direction, if you got your thing out of alignment, it's not going to do the job it's supposed to do. And on the front with the turning radius, that's important, guys. If you're out of alignment, you got a real problem. So the whole trick, guys, is that you use the hinge end, the knuckle end. You use the knuckle end to place this where you want it. That's how you get this to work, guys. So when I do this, I know I have to move this out a hair, and that's doable. I checked it. This has to come out a little bit to line up with the holes in the axle part, right? Which, that's good. That's exactly what we want. We want it to be able to sit We want it to be able to sit in line. So if I had to move it in, that's a problem. Moving it out, no problem. So I can do that. It's about 1 millimeter, guys, not very much. It's totally doable. And then all I got to do is line up that face properly, and we're good to go. So that's the next mission, guys, is to design up a knuckle, print it out, and then we'll be good to go. Got the bearings coming, and look for that knuckle on Thingiverse. In the meantime, now you know the difference, guys. The difference between these two types of shafts. The center part, the important bit, the part that takes up space in the drivetrain, is about 2 millimeters wider in this style than it is in this style. This style is narrower. Whether or not this is going to work when your car came with this, I think you'll be able to get it to work, because what you could do, guys, is with any luck at all, you could put a shim and space this end. So if this is in the knuckle, right, like I was talking about, guys, if this is in the knuckle, if you shim this back 1 millimeter or whatever you need, guys, oops, let's get that focused, guys. So what you can do is you can move this in and out, right? And obviously you don't want to move it too far, guys, but if you got to move it like 1 millimeter, that's not catastrophic, guys. And the only question mark is how much can you move it and still be able to get the pin in for the hex. That's the dodgy bit, guys. And do you have a lot of room to move there? No, you don't. It's a little dicey, but I'd say you have 1 millimeter. I mean, let's see if I can get this lined up to show you, because that's the important part. See, I think you're going to be able to swing 1 millimeter. So depending on how this sits, guys, because this center section is narrower, right? So it's going to have to take up more room. So if you can use 1 millimeter on the axle end, on the outside end, that's okay. If you need to use 2 millimeters on the inside end, there you got really no problem, because there's a lot of flange there. There's a lot of flange isn't the right word, but there's a lot of bite on the keyway here, guys, on the end. Like 2 millimeters, not the end of the world, as long as you're getting it, as long as it's the right length. So chances are these are going to work in a car that came with these. You might need to space it slightly to make sure that pin is in the right spot of the knuckle, like I explained earlier, right? So anyways, I cannot confirm or deny, because I don't have an axle that came with these shafts, guys. I'm going the other way, but I'm pretty sure you'll be able to get it to work, but you're going to need to stick a shim in there, guys. And yeah, there you go. There's your axle update, guys. Hopefully that's useful information for you, and you can learn from my semi mistake. I think I'm going to be all right here, guys, and it's not the end of the world, but yeah, not all equal, which I kind of knew, but until you've actually had one to measure and whatnot, kind of hard to know exactly what the problem is. So now you know. Thanks for tuning in. See you next time.